Morning, we're just leaving the hotel there. We're taking a boat ride down the Nile to the temples of Karnak and then hopefully to the temples of Luxor. We've got a couple of other things planned as well. We'll see how we get on. Flowing quite quickly, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pardon?
What like to drink tea, karkade?
I'll have tea. Tea.
Egyptian whiskey.
Do you want anything?
Nothing.
Pardon?
Same. He wants to go.
Sugar for me.
It's not sweet enough.
What is this?
Thank you.
What's good?
Yeah, one. So what's this tea called?
Mint tea.
Mint tea. Very nice, thank you. Do you do? Oh, sorry. But yeah, that's the Valley of the Kings.
Yes.
Yeah. I came about 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Yeah. Stopped at the Hilton.
That is King Farouk's castle, for want of a better word. Nice overlook he's got of the Nile, or had. Looks like he's on fire, that one. Oh, look at it, smothering smoke. Oh dear. That's not going to pass the emissions test, is it? I know. Very funny. Seems all the cruise ships are on the east bank and all the traditional seem to be on the west bank. It's difficult to see, but in the background is the Valley of the Kings, but because it's quite misty it's hard to see it. Egyptian flag. It's a glorious morning. This is the boat. What we're on. It's good.
Welcome to Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, the boat is called Mickey Mouse.
Cool.
You see this one?
Hilton, yeah, that was last time, yeah.
Just down here.
Yeah.
Just far from us.
10 years ago, I said.
Life is still nice.
Well, that's been a nice way for us to travel. We're actually on our way to the Karnak Temple and then the Luxor Temple, the Mummification Museum, and not really sure about anything else, but definitely those three. It's been great, really good. I don't fancy staying on any of these. They look rough, to say the least. Not great. But, these are the type of boats that would have carried the gods, or in effect the pharaohs, to and from the temples. Here's a scale map of actually the Karnak temples, well, Karnak being in Luxor, and Luxor used to be called Thebes. There are a couple of later additions to the temple area, which are these mosques, which are probably, well, they're very old, could be in the thousands of years old. Pardon? Oh well.
Court of the temple.
So this area is the port of the temple. Where we're about to go now is the Avenue of Sphinxes. Heading down to the temple is an avenue of sphinxes, or called the Road of Rams. A sphinx normally is the body of a lion, and it's usually the head of a human, but these are heads of rams. They are pretty awesome. I know I've said it before, but they are, when you're looking at 4,000 years old, they've stood the test of time well. The buildings are on such an immense scale, even as they didn't have cement or anything like that, and the bricks or the blocks are just cut perfectly and then stacked together. It's just amazing, and they're so high. We're about to enter the chapels of Seti II. The triple bark shrine of Seti II. A bark, by the way, is a ship or a boat for the sun god Ra. They were built on his command in the 13th century, so before Christ, so BC. And they served as a way station for the sacred barks of the Theban triad of the gods Amun, Mut and Khonsu. The exterior walls of the shrine depict reliefs showing Seti II making offerings to different deities. The triple bark shrine of Seti II at Karnak provides was with only known reference for his son and heir, Prince Seti Menenfat.
So that's the sacred bark, as we call it, and this one for the wife of Amun-Ra, the god of smooth.
Another chapel of Seti II.
Así se llamaba. Supuestamente adentro guardaban estatuas de la But all we have allowed, we are reminded from 2,900 liters.
I think all of the cement that you see is to try and hold it all together. I think it would fall down if they hadn't done things like this to help preserve it. Some of the hieroglyphics are just truly outstanding on how they all stand out and haven't worn away, whereas others have seen probably better days. And the third temple of Seti II. Back in the courtyard again. I think the courtyard was designed for something for the general public, so they could go and worship their pharaohs and kings, also their deities and gods. Side view of the temples or the churches, chapels of Seti II. More sphinxes with ram's heads. I think this is a pretty much intact ram's head sphinx. This is part of what they call an open air museum. Although I believe it's all an open air museum. Seems that they totally decorate the walls from floor to ceiling with writing, hieroglyphs. The hieroglyphs tell a story. I think the open museum is pieces that they've found to put on display. So, for example, some of the blocks. I mean, some of the hieroglyphics on these pieces are fantastic. What appears to be like a grindstone, but there's also writing on the top of this too. This is the wall of Amenhotep IV. Very, very large. hieroglyphs. If you can make out the arm across to the body. This is the White Chapel of Cenostret I. This building's made of a fine Turra or Helwan limestone. It's what they class as being extraordinary because it was found pretty much intact and there were only 3 blocks missing. The podium is decorated with one of the oldest preserved lists of the administrative division of the country. The names of Upper and Lower Egypt, with and among other data about the high levels of water for the Nile. The hieroglyphics on the temple are quite spectacular. Not sure about this fella. Or this fella. Seems they all walk around with erections. But they all tell a story. In fact, that the whole temple, it must be some sort of fertility place. It's a calcite bark shrine of Amenhotep I. Or chapel of Amenhotep I. I think it's probably a better reading of it. Hieroglyphics are very worn in here. This is the Red Chapel of Hatshepsut and Thutmose III. It seems the chapels are very phallic. Although I think it appears at some stage that the pictures were actually painted. There is paint still on some of these.
Они стоит гордится, что строит больше, чем это вопрос. А как я могу знать, что это есть Рамсес? Фараон из всего ходит, все бирата. Ваши глаза подвергли очередь, как искать паспорт фараона. Подойдите, пожалуйста, у фараона на пояс. Овальная форма, карнуш, смотрите, пожалуйста, это фараон. Овальная форма, карнуш.
This thing is so tall. The walls is just amazing how they built all this. Hypo style hall. This is probably one of the most famous areas that there is in Luxor. Apparently the colonnades are just truly stunning. So let's have a look, see if they are as good as what they say they are.
Segundo, su cabeza se cortaba por muchos motivos que dijo antes. Cuando había terremoto, cuando el agua subía, cuando más vienen, subía muchos pesos, tampoco. The hieroglyphs and everything on them, it goes all the way from the base to the top on every column. It's just brilliant. I wish I knew what it said. So tall. The hieroglyphics are just spectacular. Considering that this is probably 4,000 or 5,000 years old, some of the colours are still there. As you can see on the ceiling, I think, where the weather's not got to them. See if I can zoom in a bit. I'm trying to hold that still. Just absolutely amazing. On the outer walls, just the same. This is huge. This hall is just absolutely spectacular. I mean, truly, truly unbelievable.
And some of them still have the colour on them. I mean, but it was so colourful.
But before was about the camels, he took like 2 months or 3 months. Huh? This is about him. Don't make it clear. Don't make it clear.
We walked through the hall and now okay, the pylons or obelisk. Which there are 2. So surrounding one of the pylons are these.
To reduce the speed of the boat going forward. You get it? And they have about 2 or 3 ships ahead of them to, measure the depth of the river and to make sure that they are going in the right way. That's only to bring the obelisk up. Now, with the obelisk here, they will do a thing, and they will do another big track, and they will build a big wall with a type of shaft like this.
Was Sie wissen, dass gehört es zu Ägypten, die Fahne Ägyptens früher. Hat alle Namen in Fahne Ägyptens gelegt. Das bedeutet, das gehört zu Ägypten. Und alle Herrscher waren gefesselt. So, und ihr seht? Bei Spiel. Spiele.
Das geht jetzt über das Karabin.
هو ده؟
فين؟ بصي عايزاكي تعملي كده.
This place is just unbelievable. It's hard to believe. It's been 2,000 years. Well, sorry, 4,500. This place is amazing. It is just so big and there's so much. And this is the temple of Akhmenu. Hello, Manchester. Manchester.
Manchester?
Uh-huh.
United?
No, rubbish. Sheffield Wednesday. I can tell you one thing that I know. It is getting very hot and it's still classed as winter here. It's the temple of Ramesses II. And statue of Ramesses II. Karnak Temple area, like an overall view from the lake. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's a call to prayer. I'd just like to say that that call to prayer that you can hear is miles away. When you get near to the tannoy system, they have it on full volume. It is so loud and it's so everybody can hear it for miles around. And it's not just one system, there's several people doing it all at the same time, saying different things.
There's small holes there. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Remember when your hand got stuck in there?
In the jet?
Cuéntamela. Tres.
The place is just so big. Lots of temples and structures. Incredible. It doesn't seem to matter where you go. Everything, doesn't matter how high it is decorated with pictures and hieroglyphs. Even at height, just stunning. They must have looked amazing 4,000 or 5,000 years ago. I mean, the walls are so high. They're not stuck together with cement, they're just blocks that are perfectly cut and stood one on top of the other. Fantastic. I mean, these must have been colossal. I mean, the condition of some of it is just unbelievable. There's such fantastic structures. I have absolutely no idea how they built and moved the stones around. Unbelievable. And another quick look down the hall, which we've already seen, is just spectacular and massive. And surrounding it are these walls. They're so tall, but the writing goes all the way to the top. Just amazing, absolutely amazing. The structures just dominated the skyline. They must have looked absolutely magnificent. You'd have been able to see them for miles around. Absolutely awesome. The structure's certainly made a statement. We have been in here. Wow. Terrific. And that's Karnak. Actually, not quite the end. This is the temple of Ramesses III.
With roof. You see the decoration. That you see the old roof and new roof, right? So, right? You see with the blue sky, sometimes with the stars. If you come closer here, you can see the static. Amazing. Look the color. It was color here. And then look at the stars here. It was a star. There is a part of the roof where we saw the stars. Black, white, black. Because people live in something cooking on fire. Before discovering the temple, we're looking, they're living, touching, scratching, like we see most of the religion. It was fine, it was good.
Now, we've seen all of Karnak. There always seems to be just one last thing to see. And once again, the line of Sphinxes. Truly, truly stunning.